Welcome to the Coherence Project. I'm Dr. Tyler Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Amy Gunderson Lewis.
This is a space for conversations in human potential,
where we explore how people evolve, how patterns reorganize, and what it looks like when you start living from a greater level of awareness.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Coherence Project. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce a really great friend of mine and leader in his field, Talha Rahman. Talha is a regional manager with Aflac who spent the past 13 years building leaders, cultivating culture, and growing one of the company's top performing organizations. Under his leadership, the region has expanded from 1.4 to nearly 6 million in revenue, while consistently ranking amongst the top 10 in the nation. Beyond business, Talha is passionate about becoming a strong leader, creating meaningful impact, and building a life that inspires his family and the people around him to reach their fullest potential. Welcome, Talha. Super excited to have you be a part of this today.
Hey, look, I'm super excited you guys invited me here. Okay, this is exciting. The setup is awesome. I've watched y'all's podcast. You guys are killing it, and I'm just happy. And you guys, wherever you guys are, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, get that done.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here. There's so many things I want to talk to you about: entrepreneurship, leadership, running a business with your wife.
Yeah.
But to start, let's just start with.
That's good.
Okay, so you've created one of the highest performing organizations in your industry.
Yeah.
What do you feel is something behind the scenes that really was essential for that success?
Man, so I've heard this question a couple of times. So I will break it down this way. You got to be stubborn. You got to be stubborn. You got to be stupid. You got to be stupid enough to believe in yourself, right? And like, you got to look through the dust. And like what I tell people all the time, when you're in this position and you get up higher, you get paid to make decisions 6 months down the line. People that are there are making decisions day to day. And you have to say, like, I believe we're going to go there. And listen, there was no strategy when we were 1.4 million, 1.5, wherever we were, but there was just a vision. And I was like, man, we're going to get to 6 million. Did I think it was going to happen in 2.5 years? Absolutely not. But we did it. But it was a 5-year plan that happened in 2.5 years. And the cool thing is when people around you start believing in the cause that you forecast and you vision, that's the trick. You get paid to believe in yourself and believe in an idea that doesn't exist yet. That's it. It's that simple. Strategy and all of that stuff, like belief and vision, will eat strategy for whatever they say, breakfast, dinner, I don't know, all the above. So that's what I would say. Just absolute vision and casting and getting people to believe it.
100%. Yeah. Okay. So that being said, what do you feel like is the biggest risk that you've taken?
The biggest risk I have taken, man, this is a tough question. I don't know how to answer this question because it's like the risk is before Tyler found, like, you know, I'm with you guys, and I think the risk I took, and I'll just be a little vulnerable now. The risk I took was I was in an either or situation where I said, hey, I want to be successful. And I justified the success by being an absentee dad and an absentee husband sometimes. And that was a risk I took. And then I got to meet Tyler 2.5 years ago. And he goes, dude, you don't have to be either or. We can just do more. I was like, I like that plan of that. So sometimes I think when you have such a big vision, there's always this mindset, what do I lose? And the risk I almost took, thanks Tyler for not letting me take this risk because, you know, I'm rocking it out as a dad and a husband, was that I was like, I will justify success with being an absentee on this side and going either or. It doesn't have to be either or. You can just do more.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that answered your question.
It 100%
Okay.
answered my
All right.
question. You know, I love hearing you talk about that unwavering faith that it takes, because every entrepreneur, like, that really is the key to success.
Yeah.
Is, you know, a little bit of crazy,
Yeah.
but being so committed to that vision that you can inspire others to hop on it with you. And then now taking that into other domains of your life, like, it doesn't just have to be business. This
Mhm.
can be in at home. This can be in finance. This can be in your health. And
Yeah.
so Awesome. Okay. Next question. What do you think creates leaders?
So the concept, let's talk about the origin of this word, leading. Leading, the concept of leading is you're in the front. And what a true leader does is a true leader walks, and you keep walking to this end destination, and you can't look back. Because listen, sometimes when you look back, it's going to be a little scary that there's going to be nobody there. But leading, that's the definition of a leader. Are you confident in yourself to go ahead and take this step that no one's ever taken? Take the road that no one's willing to take. They
Right.
talk about it, but they're not willing to do it, and go there. And a leader has to go there and has to know that they have enough impact in the people around them that people will follow. But a leader is how I explain leader. Being a leader is rope. You can't push rope. You can only pull. If you try to push rope, boy, it's a sad day. Boy, it's gonna go nowhere. You gotta pull rope, and that's leading for me. Can you pull this rope beyond all doubts, even in yourself and people that are gonna start your own business? I'm telling you, there's some doubts coming.
Mhm.
Pull, fight through it.
You know, it's interesting. One of my favorite quotes is the pain pushes you until the vision pulls you.
Yeah.
And so it's like here you are, you've had this vision of what could be,
Yeah.
and the business and industry that you're in. But obviously there was, you may be pulling that rope for others, but there's also a greater vision that's pulling you along as well.
100%.
And it's just amazing that, you're touching on all these different parts and pieces. And so it's like, okay, we get to see where you're at now. And something that I wanted to reflect on is you're also aware that, okay, you have a family, you have very important roles as a husband
Yeah.
and as a father. You have a team
Yeah.
that you're also leading and guiding, helping them reach their fullest potential. You also have your own physical self, right? And looking at this journey, like, what do you sense over the past 5 years has been like one of the most powerful, either like wake up calls or advice or something that has like been such a catalyst for the success that you're at today?
Man, I will, and I'm gonna come back to this. So about 3 years ago, I mean, about 3 years ago, I lost my mom, right? And that was, and how I deal with everything is I swallow it. By the way, that's terrible advice. No one ever do that. Okay, I just swallow it, swallow it.
You're
Right?
the only person who ever has ever done that.
Yeah, absolutely not. Right? Like I swallow it and I just keep going. And I say, hey, I'm not gonna worry about this problem. I'm gonna look at that. Oh, look at that shiny star over there. I'm gonna go there. And I was going through this and I was breaking inside. Okay. And I came to your office. You remember our first conversation. I'm be
Yes.
vulnerable. I'm just gonna tell you. I'm gonna say, hey, bro, my doctor says I'm gonna have a heart attack before 40. Right. Uh, I'm not being the best version of myself at home. I'm not being the best version of myself here, because I had bandwidth issues. So what happens is when you run a beautiful organization or a successful organization, your team always gets the best version of you. Do you know who gets the worst version of you? Your loved ones.
Mm.
And my loved ones were getting the worst version of me. And I was in a situation where I didn't have the bandwidth. So I was just like either or. And I came there and then we said, hey, how do we just increase bandwidth? How do we increase bandwidth? Because you're just holding on to stressors because you just swallow everything. So, another problem, just swallow it, just keep going. That's not the best thing. And then when we hit a J curve, and I talk about this J curve all the time, and they put me on things and I say, you're going to hit a J curve and it's, you do well, you're going to go down. And then you hit this J curve. And when you hit this J curve, it's gone. Like you go straight up. And when we hit that J curve is when I became the best version of myself. Not the best version that I thought I was portraying. When I became the best version of myself in every aspect of my life, that's when you can lead and you can go. And that's where we have that compound. And like, I think we have become very good friends because of the impact you've made in my life and your practice and what you guys have done for me and what I'm able to now do with that bandwidth I have for others. Like your impact to me has affected 40 people,
Mhm.
maybe more. because I'm kind of a big deal. I'm just kidding. just 40 people. You've done it for 40 people, but that's what it was. And it was just a genuine connection for me to get there. And then I became my best version so I could help other people out.
With this, so you talked about in the beginning, it's like, okay, getting there,
Yeah.
wherever there is.
Yeah.
Has the there and the vision changed throughout this process then?
Yes.
And what is it now what was it? What is it now? Like, how has that shifted?
Yeah. So when you come from a place, awareness, right? I use that word. And when you come and you're just stressed out and you just see this bandwidth, your vision right now can be that side, and that can be the biggest. When you have more bandwidth, you get there. You're like, oh no, there's that mountain. I want there. But it's not mountain for personal growth for myself.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's I want to get to this mountain because I went through this journey, and I want others around me to be like, hey, look at this side. Come enjoy this. It's going to be rough, but let's get through this and let me show you what this really shows. And when you have that, now your goal has changed. Now your goal is not for personal gains for a short period of time. Now your goal is how do I get others to be there? So when I came in, when I came into Aflac 13 years ago, one of the people I looked up to came to me, and like he's a country guy, so like it's just you gotta listen to him, to the smartness, 30 minutes of BS to the 30 seconds of smartness. And he goes, Taha, if you get in this business to make money, you're just going to make your higher up money. When you get in this business to change people's lives,
Yes.
that's when you will have the biggest amount of wealth you can imagine what to do with it. That was his mindset. And I am seeing that now, Amy and Tyler. Like I'm seeing that you get there and you're like, how can I just get everybody here?
Yes. And, there's a big difference between money and wealth.
Yeah.
And wealth is that fulfillment in all aspects of life. There isn't a sacrifice, and now it's of service. There's a
Yeah.
bigger purpose beyond ourselves because, there's a limitation to that. We burn out. It's not a big enough why
Yeah,
to really do the hard thing, to climb the mountain. We can't even see it at that point.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're just seeing the grassy fields, and mountain doesn't even exist, and it will change.
Yes.
So how do you think that shifts then your perspective whenever, for example, the advice you receive, if you're only doing this for yourself, it's going to be incredibly frustrating. But like
Yeah.
when you make it about others and changing lives, like it completely shifts
Yeah.
your trajectory. Like what do you sense is different in that mindset that's giving you options to see life through one lens and trajectory versus if you're focused on yourself leading to
So,
another?
boy, you took this one question, and I was like, remember, C+ student, and you got it hard, and then we just made it even harder for me. But I
Correct.
will, I love it.
You're doing
Let
phenomenal.
let me answer it. Okay, this is it. When you are just very short-minded and you're trying to get their personal gains, right? You justify terrible behavior with short-term gains, which is like monetary. And listen, if people are in that boat, that doesn't make you a bad person. I think we have to all start there. Okay. And you get there, and then your vision changes, and what success looks like changes. So can I give you a story? Can
Yeah,
we go on a
please.
tangent?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go on a tangent right now. What used to make me happy is when I got trophies and people told me I was good and we finished number 1 or number 2 and all of that. That stuff means nothing to me. So the coolest thing happened to me. So I was on another podcast like 3 weeks ago and told you the story, and I did it, and they said, hey, the views were great, blah, blah, blah. And my wife found out. She was like, hey, send it to me. I was like, okay, I'll send it to you. Well, my daughter, Layla, heard it, and she used the term I said on it, and it just meant the world to her. And then I told her I was going to be on this podcast, which is going to be on YouTube. So I got to give a shout out to my daughter, Layla, because this is what makes me happy. This is joy. Layla Rahman, here, you get that? To see my kids see their dad as not the guy that makes crappy eggs and crappy like pancakes, or the dad that's like just goofy all the time, and them to see me in this light of what I've created, that gives me joy. Like, do you understand? Like, so when you're talking about your vision changing, your wants will change because I'm really in this pocket. I just want to bring joy around people, however it is. And I don't get joy from monetary or a prize or whatever the case may be. I get that from how my daughter sees me now and like all I wanted to do with this whole time is just be a good role model for my kids. When I'm gone, 6 feet under, says, here lies Taha. He made a difference as a human being, as a dad, as a husband, right? And to see that That's cool, right? And when you live that and you feel that, now I want everyone to feel that because there's people on my team that are going for the monetary value. And I'm like, oh, Casey, Jay, I want you to feel what I'm feeling now. How can I get you guys through this point so we can get to this stuff? So then your vision just changes. It's shared experience. I just want to have as many cool shared experience with them, and I want them to feel what I feel. And that, so for you, like when you're saying it does change, and like the vision is not a goal that you can reach.
Mhm.
It's not a goal you'll ever touch. It's just a want to change and help people see that. And I think that's where we connected. Amy, you too, like where we connected when you guys first met me, and he's like, oh, this guy's like gonna hit a number and he wants to get there and justify his bad behavior on that. But you guys are so cool by telling me that I was a cool person at that time, right? And now you guys let me see it because what you guys are doing is making a difference in like even putting this podcast together. There's people listening that's like, hey, I feel that. Like I feel I'm there, and it's the bigger purpose that you guys are going through that too. Like, I want to expand the world. And I don't know from however many people listen, if one person hears the message that I'm saying, or the one person hears the message there, it makes a difference. So what is the goal, Tyler? I don't know. I really don't know. The thing is that, like, I guess I just want more people to feel what I'm feeling.
And I think that that's really important just to reflect so much that, whenever you're doing things for yourself, you're very myopic, you're
Yeah.
looking for instant gratification. And you may not do the thing that would make you uncomfortable because why, if you're in it for yourself, would you ever want to make yourself uncomfortable?
Yeah.
But as soon as you begin to consider, well, what would my family feel about this decision? What is the impact that me doing this or taking this on is going to have on my children and how they see me? How can I be a better role model and leader for them, for my team? How can I exemplify what's possible for others? It's like the aperture on life expands. You start seeing new options and thoughts, and you choose different.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really, really beautiful and incredible. So thank you absolutely for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to family because this is really huge.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you two-parter again.
Okay.
I'm going to challenge the C student.
You got a DR in front of your name, right? I
Yeah.
barely have a MR in front of my name. Okay, Dr. Tyler, Mr. Top, right? Like I barely
Hey,
graduated.
this is awesome. You were talking about the shift here. And I think this is something that can be common where you're focusing on business. And you said, when I was focusing on business, I was showing up as the best version of myself. But then all of a sudden I would get home and I wasn't. Just to start here just for a moment, because I think this is really crucial. Why do you feel like it was so easy for you to focus on the business versus also being able to be present at home?
Yeah. So I have ability that a lot of people don't have. Okay. A lot of people let work go into home go into that. And I knew what I had available. I knew this gas chamber was empty. And I was like, I have to conserve this energy and just use it at this point. And then when I would go home, I said, I have no energy. So I would do brain numbing stuff, a la TikTok, a la watching a show on Netflix, a la something that doesn't involve me actually engaging with a problem or whatever. How can I fix that? So I had that. That's why I was the best version at there, because I knew I didn't have energy.
Mhm.
And that's when I came to you guys. I said, dude, I'm low. And the energy I have, I'm putting it here. And then how I was justifying my bad behavior is year over year growth, which means more money, which means more vacation I can take my family, which means nicer school, nicer house, and all of this stuff. But then when I go to vacation, I wasn't present. When they go to a nicer school, guess what? If you are in a nicer school or a bad school, you have the same problems. Kids bully each other, right? They don't need anything except they need dad to be there to say, hey, listen, they're an idiot. Okay, they need that, right? And like nothing changes, but I was never present.
Mhm.
And that's where I came to you. And I was like, listen, I know where I'm lacking
So
because I made that choice to be successful here to justify the behavior.
and then you made the choice of, okay, like enough's enough. This
Yeah.
isn't sustainable. I
Exactly.
choose to be better than
Yeah.
how I've been showing up so that my family can't have exactly these things. Like what was that like switch flip?
So the switch flip was I lost my mom,
Yes.
and she was a terrible employee. I'm just kidding. But she was a great mom. Do you understand what I'm saying? She was
Yeah.
that person.
Mhm.
And when I lost and I saw how it impacted me, and you have that moment where you're like, dude, this is messing me up. What is the word going to be when I'm in that bed and my kids are here? This is real life talk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, are they going to say, well, there's Taha. He was a great provider. I told you my goal is 6 feet under. He
Yep.
made a difference. As a father, I think nowhere did I say, was he a provider?
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, something's got to change. Something's got to change. Time is too limited. You don't know what it is. So if in this, how I'm justifying this bad behavior, I'm providing for them, right? And then I pass away. And it's kind of morbid. It's kind of dark, but like you get what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
make decisions from there. They're gonna just say I'm a provider, and I don't want to be that. I want to be the version of my mom as a parent to my kids, and it was a choice. And I still wanted to be the greatest version of myself at work. And I was like, I just need more. How do I find it? Whatever you want to do, I'm all for it. I want to change. You have to have that change. Like you have to have that choice made before change happens. You
Absolutely.
can't, you got to draw a line in the sand. You can't be like, man, I wish I could be a better version. So I'll try whatever.
I'm interested.
I'm interested.
Interesting.
What pill do you have for me to make me feel, what can I do to better deal with that? No, you can't wish. You have to say, no, I'm going to do it. I don't care what's going to be lost. I don't care. And that's when you're talking about leading, right?
Yes.
That's leading. So
Yes.
I was leading at work, but I decided now I'm going to be a leader at home as well.
That's amazing. And what a powerful reflection for anyone. It's like, okay, however many years in the future, what do I want my family to say about me? What do I want my team to say about me? What do I want my friends to say about me? It's like anybody reflecting like that's a great way to connect to the new there, the vision, right?
Yeah.
But okay, so with your team,
Yeah.
after leaving your organization or you're gone,
Yep.
what do you want them to gain beyond just money?
I want them. A lot of this stuff I figured out myself, Amy. How to lead, I figured out. I learned some of that stuff by playing sports, being around great leaders. I figured a lot of that stuff out by myself. I want them to see it and say, he showed it.
Yeah.
Right? Clock in and clock out. He was here. Right? You know that what the best ability you can have is availability. That's my number one say.
That's awesome.
Best ability is availability. And I was always available.
Yeah.
I'm never too busy for my team. I'm never too busy for that. As the game gets faster, your time is shorter.
Yeah.
But I want them to be like, that's how he led me. This is how I'm going to lead moving forward.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what I want them to gain. And I just want, I want to make this shift in this world where you can be a great leader by just being available and being funny and showing some love and that's it. That's my whole concept, right? And then all the strategies crap, right? It will all work out, right? It's all something we throw on the wall.
Has there ever been anyone that ended up being a phenomenal leader that really surprised you?
Yeah, man, there's been some people, they've shown glimpses, and there's been some people that are just amazing leaders. Look, I have the fortunate, people say you leading top organization. I have great leaders underneath me that are leading, that really do lean in and lead from the front. But on a daily basis, I'm seeing leadership on a daily basis. Like one person that I will give shout to, I got here today in a car that I didn't drive because of this girl named Jasmine. Okay. And she's becoming a very amazing leader. She's here. And what I've seen from her is I saw her when she came in and she was just like, hey, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. Now she's then a little later, she then was like, okay, I can do more than my job. How can I help people out? Now she's in the trenches with me, and like, you know, what is her title? I don't know, office manager. I think she's co-leading this thing with me. Like
She's the rock, right?
yeah, she's the rock. That's what we call the rock of the organization, right?
Yeah.
So what we tell her, like, she's become a leader, that came from nowhere. Like that came from nowhere, but it wasn't anything I did. She chose it.
Yep.
And then she chose to be a better version of herself, and to be like, when you choose to be a leader, you're also choosing to be loyal. That's another part that people don't understand. And she was like, I'm down for this cause. I get what this is. And I'm going to lead, and I'm going to take this into the next arena. And I've had like managers that have the title that done it, but like her, surprising, amazing.
And I think
So,
that's the defining quality as a leader. It's like you're not just wishing and hoping that something's going to be different. It's like you see the vision, you're like laser focused, whatever it takes in order to help that happen, and not just for yourself, but again, realizing that that's going to have an impact
yeah.
on others. I think it's just fascinating the team that you have, because technically
Mhm.
the team that is, you know, working under you, they don't really have to care about each other.
No,
They
they
can
don't.
technically operate independently,
100%.
yet you've done something where you've really created a powerful movement.
Yeah,
Like,
and interdependence. There's a
yes.
culture there.
Yeah. So culture. Oof,
Yeah.
strong word. Okay. As a leader, you can create culture. Your team has to continue the culture.
Right.
You have to give them the bandwidth to destroy the culture. Think about it. You have to give them the power to kill the culture, because if you don't give them the power to kill the culture, they don't have the power to grow the culture. So you can say, this is my line in the sand. This is how we're going to work together. Then you have to show them how you want them to behave. But then also give them the power to break it in a second. But if you give them the power to break it in a second, they also have the power to make it greater, right? That's a risk.
So what have you found to be one of the biggest killers of the culture?
The me monster.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's called the Coherence Project. So let's talk about it.
Let's
Let's
do it.
talk
We
about
love
it.
the word
Yeah,
coherence.
let's talk about it. I made a huge change in the beginning of this year. Huge change. Lost some of my top producers, my top managers, because I didn't think they were coherent to what the plan of the vision was. Okay. When we go back, there's 3 levels, right? The people that are in the trenches working, they're paid to make decisions based on the day. I just got to get through the day. If you're a manager, mid-manager, we talk about it, you're paid to make a decision 1 week out. And then higher level, you got to make decisions 6 months out. Winning teams. So we talk about losing teams. Losing teams are scared to make changes, period. Mediocre teams make changes after they lose. Winning teams make decision and changes while they're winning.
Mhm.
So we were winning, and everyone's clapping, everyone's popping champagne, everyone's doing this. And I was like, I don't like how this feels. There's some me monsters creeping in. They're not here for the project that I want, which is, it's not just one person win. It's everybody win.
Yes.
And you got to be courageous enough to take shots. And you got to be courageous enough to remember that blind thing we talk about. You make this decision, you keep moving, and you hope people follow. And I made that decision. And when I made that decision, I'm going to tell you, even with my team, people start questioning. They're like, are you sure? But they won't say it, but they're thinking it. Are you sure? Are you sure? Dog, 6 months in, we're winning at a different clip.
Yes. And this is really how you build a legacy. It's
Yeah.
a culture that's going to outlive your time there. It's like
Yep.
now you have an energetic that everyone supports and is coherent with, that now it's a win-win-win culture. And
Yeah.
so that's an amazing thing that you're committed to, because it's beyond self. Like now it's really just about service, which is super admirable, because it's not something that you had to do. And it's definitely not about money, but to be so committed to that,
Yeah.
to the legacy of service, that you're willing to sacrifice those other things. And you know they will come. They will come as everyone gets more coherent. Abundance, wealth, all of it comes, but you're there for the long game.
Yeah, but you know that decision's made out of fear. It's a scary decision when you're making that decision. If that decision is not scary, oh,
Right. Well, any great decision like that, you're gonna have fear and a little bit of seduction and some
oh boy.
excitement.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's
There's a
like,
promise of something so much more,
oh
but like,
God, what am I
yeah,
doing? We're
right.
winning. We're like the top 5 team. Am I
Right.
stupid? What am I doing? But then you go back to the North Star. What is my North Star? And then I went back to the North Star and I said, no, this is my North Star. I don't care if I lose all of this as long as this stays intact. And you make that decision. And then people around are like, okay, he's serious. Winning doesn't solve all problems. It's about this.
Yeah.
And then people have a choice, you said, right? People have a choice. I'm down for the cause or I'm not.
Right.
You don't have to push them out. They'll push themselves out because they're North Star. Here, and when people get pushed out, that doesn't make them a bad person. Let me be very clear. They're just not aligned to what you're aligned to. That doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't make you a bad person. That just means you guys are on 2 different paths. And they're going to go find a path where their North Star lines up with the organization North Star, and they're going to be happier. And that's what happens. You can't be friends with everybody. You can try. Sometimes it just doesn't align. That's how it just kind of works. And it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to pivot for a moment because I do want to talk about, so you work with your wife.
Oh, I do.
And so what made you guys make the decision to build this and work together as opposed to doing something separately?
So we did do things differently for 10 years. What it was kind of like a shotgun decision. Max was born, my 3-year-old, and Britt's like, I'm not going back to a traditional W-2. I said, hey, what about a crazy idea? Why don't you come work with me? Okay. And boy, you're going to learn. You learn. And you guys know, you learn, right? How to keep it separate. Work Taha is different than home Taha. Work Brittany is different from home. And it's not a perfect science. Trust me, we still work on it all the time. It's pretty cool though. It's awesome. We see ourselves a lot. I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but I do. We get to go out and have lunch because we have 3 kids. Anybody here that have kids, you guys know, like going on dates with your spouse is impossible. So now we get to go on dates around 12 to 1. Do you get what I'm saying? And have time without kids saying, I want chicken nuggets. So that's been cool. I get to spend more time with her. It's been awesome. But it's a work in progress. She's been great. The cool thing is she came in and she was going to be there. She's the #1 producer in Texas, not North Texas, in Texas. And she came in, and people think I'm competitive. They don't understand.
Behind a competitive
Brit.
man is a more competitive woman.
Yes, Brit is really competitive. And she came in, and in the beginning, look, when you come in, and I got to give her a lot of kudos. She comes into an organization that I've kind of built and a legacy that I've kind of built in Aflac, and she's like Taha's wife. No, now it's Brittany and it's Taha.
Yeah.
2 different entities, 2 different people, and that goes power to her. Her journey was harder than my journey because it's easier to sneak up on somebody, right? Rather than, oh, you're supposed to do this. And then she made her own route, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome to watch.
I'm thinking about this from the lens of you talking about there's always a bigger mountain. There's always a goal. There's always something aspirational, something of a greater energy and bandwidth that's calling. And you're never there because as soon as you get close to there, there's new bandwidth for new lens, new options. And I think this is a really amazing example of this. You made the shift toward beyond just surviving in business or getting by to a financial goal. You realize, okay, it's not just about profession, also incorporates my family.
Yeah.
But this from like an intimacy and relationship perspective, having Brittany come on and be a part of that team, it's going to change the dynamic.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was like for you initially, whenever she's there. Obviously it's different.
Yeah.
There's new opportunities, there's new challenges, but at the same time, to see where you guys are now is really amazing. And so what do you sense is on a individual and also collective, relational, intimate level, like what has been one of the biggest advantages for you guys now actually working together, being a
Yeah.
part of this movement together, and creating what it is that you're creating together?
So first, she came in and she saw me speak somewhere, and I got off stage, and she goes, "You're like good at this, huh?" That's what she said. I was like, "Yeah. What do you think? They were just I was the DEI hire, whatever this is. What do you think? Like I'm good at this, bro." And she was like, "No, like you're good, right?" So like that was cool for her to see that side because they only see me at home side. We had to work in progress. I always wanted this. I'm just gonna be real with you. I grew up in a tight knit family, man. Like my mom, my dad, my sisters, we all talk, right? Like we hate each other and love each other, and I've always wanted this. The best man of my wedding is one of my managers. One of my groomsmen is one of my managers. Like I got people that I love that I've shared experiences to work in that stuff. I've always wanted this because my mindset is when you wake up, the most alert you are is when you're supposed to be at work. How cool is it for you to, when you're that alert, you can do it with Amy? That's a cool experience, right? Like that's when you're doing it. By the time you get home, you're like tired and you're like, oh, you want to watch Netflix together? All right, cool. Sleep, right? Now we're having that moment, but it was a growing pain. And then I wanted this, and then Brittany had to see it. And then they're like, this is kind of cool. And then you kind of go through this mode, and they're like, we get to share each other's successes. We know the sacrifices we're making. Everyone knows what the significant other's making at home. But to see it at the office, like I see the sacrifice you're making, this award you got means so much more
Totally.
for the person. You can share that. That's that intimacy, right? Sharing moments, right? On a different level, just not in like just there. I don't know. It's been cool, man. It's been awesome. I think I've always wanted this. I want a tight knit group, a tight knit family. I'm awake. I have to leave my kids to go to work. Why not do it with the people you love and care and genuinely care about? Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not? Share that with them.
For sure. I agree. It's like one of the greatest gifts. People say all the time, like, how can you work with your husband? I would kill
Like,
mine.
how can
And
you
it's
not?
like, how can you not? Because,
Yeah.
yes, of course, there's things that you run into where you have to navigate new challenges. But the gift of, like, one, getting to experience each other's whole world
Yeah.
and being a part of so much more than you would be in other situations. But
Yeah.
also the fact that, like, you understand each other different. So at work, you can move much faster. You can get to goals much faster.
Yeah.
You can do things because they get you on a different level.
They
And so
do.
there's so many advantages to working with your spouse. But I agree. It's like we spend so much time at the office. And so our team is our family.
Yeah.
And so how cool to actually include your actual family as well.
Yeah. I mean, the only rule is you got to leave work at work and you got to leave home at home. That's that
Absolutely.
you got to draw that line. If you can't, that's for the people that are like, how can you not kill your husband at work? Well, if you're mad at him for not taking the
Right.
trash out the next day at the office, this ain't gonna work out. Right? Yell at him when he gets home. Like, why don't you take out the trash? Right? Like at work, hold him accountable for work. And at home, hold him accountable for home. You got to have separation of state. If you can't do that, don't sign up for this because it ain't gonna work out. Okay. You got to be able to separate. And that's where Brittany had to learn and I had to learn. Those are the rocky things, but it is such a cool experience to share in their successes. Like I try not to show faces. Like she became a top 10 producer last year for the first time. And I was just there and they presented this award at this big gala. And I'm there. And I'm like, I got to act normal because we got other people there in the top 10. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's
Yeah.
go. That's my wife. So yeah, it is cool.
That's amazing. I love how it just makes the wins that much
Yeah.
richer because you see not just like the performance aspect,
Yeah.
but like the human aspect of like what it took and how you guys can relate to each other and like getting each other like viscerally and emotionally and spiritually
Yeah.
as it relates to professional
Uh-huh.
success. And it's just, there's nothing like it. But yeah, you're right. You have to be very conscientious about the shifting roles because if you're not and work is coming home or home's coming to work,
It
like
ain't gonna work.
it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
But it makes you a better communicator.
Yeah.
It makes you be more self-aware and self-observant.
Yeah.
It makes you just be more accountable and take ownership of how you're showing up. It's like, you're responsible for the energy that you bring to the room
Yeah.
and to the marriage and
Yeah.
how you guys bring that to work. So anyways, it's just awesome getting to like see how you and Brittany operate
Yeah.
in the context of both a team at work and also getting to see you guys as an amazing husband and wife and like getting to actually have a rich like family and home life too.
Yeah.
So cool to witness for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you, like, if you feel like you can't do both, that's a lie you keep feeding yourself.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, I kept telling myself that lie for 35 years. Thanks, Tyler, for showing me the way. I did have, thanks, Amy. Thanks, Brittany. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for showing me the way that I can have it all, right? And you can, but you have to say, I want it all. You have to be selfish enough to say, I want it all. Draw the line in the sand. Be willing to lose whatever you got to. If your North Star is stronger than the risk, it'll work out.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like you said, it's like, okay, well, one, the why has to be bigger than yourself. It has to be collaborative and it has to be coherent and it has to be aligned. And so it's like, yes, you can have it all, but that requires all of those components. Okay. So I have two last questions for you. First one is,
Okay.
what has success given you that
Uh-huh.
you didn't expect?
Uh-huh.
And what has success not given you that you thought it would?
Okay. Success has given me choices. I'm addicted to choices. I tell people all the time, today, when I leave here, my stomach's going to be hungry. And I want to choose whether I eat at Roots Chris or McDonald's, but I don't want my wallet to choose for me. I want
Yes.
my stomach to choose for me, right? That's what success given me. It's giving me more money to all of that stuff. I did believe that success gives you clout
hmm
because that's what you're told. Like if you're successful, people just love you. That's the opposite. When you're really successful, people try to diminish you. When you live in a glass house, people throw rocks at it, right? And I thought success is like when I become number one, everyone's just going to love me because I'm number one. They know my story and all of that stuff. Now, people love me because of the attention to details that I pay, the deposits I make in them, and all of that stuff. Success had nothing to do with it. You get what I'm saying? But the mindset is like, oh, when I become successful and I'm there. But when you are the number one in your position in any arena that you do, boy, hate's coming. Hate's coming. It's not, people are not cheering for you. People are looking for you to fall.
Well, so I'm looking at this from the lens of, you've made this decision over and over and over again to get uncomfortable, to grow in a certain way. And for you, you realize that there was always something to pursue, always a bigger goal, always a new mountain.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to have that voice that comes up that says, you know what, I think this could be good enough,
Mhm.
and that you could settle and you could drop the standard. That's definitely a choice.
Yeah, it is.
And when we're in survival, we oftentimes can minimize. And at the same time, you were talking about choosing the version of you who's showing up. And so then to be at the level of, well, I'm gonna challenge this just a little bit. The difference between success, which I believe success is really accomplishing within a certain role,
Yeah.
but then to elevate that a bit more, what would be the difference between success and victory?
Okay. So the difference is success is when someone else chooses what your goal is. Victory is when you accomplish something you set for yourself. When you're in this realm,
Mhm.
Aflac, they're like, hey, you should do 5 million this year. When I complete that, successful. When we do 10 million, that's victorious. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because victory really requires a different you on the other side. It's like, who did I become in the process? So it's a victory of transformation,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah.
And to what you said earlier about taking as many people as you
Yes.
can with you.
Yeah.
Like that requires something else, you making decisions because of how your like what role model are you going to be for your family,
Yeah.
for your team? What new possibilities are going to be available because of the decisions that you're making now, being a pathfinder, being a way shower, and this.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible because you're creating possibilities that may not have existed prior and others can follow.
Yeah.
And so then what is it like to be in a position where you have, accomplished these goals at the level of victory, going beyond the
Yeah.
expectation, beyond the role itself? You've done something that requires a human element
Yeah.
that was bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And now, sure, I understand that like for those who say I would rather just settle,
Yeah.
you've demonstrated that there are completely new possibilities beyond what were available before. And now talking about legacy,
Mm-hmm.
speaking to like the legacy itself
Yeah.
for you, years in the future.
Yeah.
For people to have been on your team and a part of the process, like what is the biggest lasting impact of your legacy that you really hope to have for your team and your family? Like when they think of you, what is it that they're going to say that because of Taha and his vision, I got to experience and take with through life this?
Yeah. So I'm a first generation American. My parents came here on student visa. I grew up in a 1-bedroom apartment with me, my mom, my dad, and my 2 sisters. I didn't have a bed till the age of 9. I slept on a red and blue mat with a sleeping bag on top of it. When my friends asked me to go camping, I said I went camping for the first 9 years of my life. Hard pass. Listen, that's where I was, where I am now. I don't get to this position without 8 cool ass people. Sorry, I used the A word. 8 people in my life that changed the trajectory of what my future hold. Okay. All I want to do is be one of those 8 cool people for anybody that will listen.
Amazing.
It can be someone on this podcast. It can be Jasmine. It can be people that work on my team. It can be my kids. All I'm doing is paying it forward. So when you say that vision, it's because I lived it. I know that the lifestyle I live right now was not what I was destined for. But 8 people saw something in me. They're like, I like his hair, or I like his attitude, or he's funny. And they helped me and they gave me information. See, the difference between rich and poor is information. The difference between success and not success is what you do with the information. And all I want to do is provide unbiased information to anybody, not gatekeep anything. And if they're successful, that is their choice. So if that legacy you're talking about, and it's Tyler on the other side 5 years from now, and it's like, man, I'm successful, not because of Taha, because I will kill you. I'm successful because of me. But thanks, Taha, for giving me the information that wasn't readily available to me. That's all I want to do. That's the legacy I want. Like, I'm here because of me, not because of anybody else. Just know that you're here because of you. But I got here because of the information that was provided to me that is not readily available. And that's all I want to do.
That's amazing.
That is.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Talha, so much for your energy, for your perspective, your insight, your commitment to your family, your team, and a greater vision. It's been just incredible to have you, just with such an inspirational message for us and the community. So thank you for
Yeah.
joining us
We look
today.
forward to having more conversations.
Absolutely.
Hey, this was awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much.